So I've been thinking a lot lately about what you can and cannot dump into the ocean on long passages. Now I know this is a contentious issue, and next week we'll talk about it. But one thing I do know you cannot throw into the ocean is plastic. Why? Well, in the face of overwhelming odds, I am only left with one option. I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this. Every year, 8 million metric tonnes find its way into our oceans, and that's on top of the 150 million metric tonnes that already circulate our marine environment. Once all this plastic is in the ocean, it builds up into these things called garbage patches. Fun fact, in 1997, a guy named Charles Moore found one so big, Texas could fit in it twice. Yes. Okay, so there's 5 major garbage patches in the world. The biggest one is the Pacific Garbage Patch, and this is located 1,000 miles northeast of Hawaii, and it goes to a depth of up to 90 feet. That is 28 meters down. It's 3.5 million tons of rubbish, which can include things like light bulbs, solo cups, bottle caps, cans, fishing gear. You get the point. Anyway, the fact is, it will never decompose or biodegrade fully because 80% of it is made up of plastic. So what's the issue? With the motion of the water, these plastics break up into microplastics. And then what happens? Well, the plankton eat it.
It's just a little plastic treasure chest!
Plastic! And then what happens? Fish then eat the plankton. And then what happens? Fishermen catch the fish. And then what happens? Some people eat the fish. Wait, if people eat the fish, isn't that dangerous or something? Wait. Let me check. Okay, so I've done a bit of research. There's not much evidence about how it may or may not affect the human body, but there is evidence of microplastics and even smaller particles called nanoplastics, once ingested by a fish, can move from the fish's stomach to its muscle tissue, the bit that people eat. Now, there has been research where they've observed fish that have been exposed to microplastics and fish that haven't. And what they found was the fish that had been exposed to microplastics would reproduce less. And even their offspring, who hadn't directly been exposed to microplastics, would also reproduce less. And this would suggest that the effects that the parent fish had from microplastics can then linger throughout generations. Anyway, let's not go into baby making tips. Nobody wants that. Okay, so what is anyone doing about all this plastic in the ocean? Well, there are a number of organisations which are putting manpower into cleaning it up, cleaning up the beaches, cleaning up on boats, such as there's 4Ocean, and there's also the Ocean Cleanup. But there's also more innovative ways that people are using to clean up and combat the ocean waste. So there's System 001, which is a 62-mile-long barrier targeting the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. That's by Hawaii. Wait, what did you just say? 62 miles long? It's 600 meters, you idiot. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's continue. its slow-moving design moves with the ocean current. It rounds up all the waste, and once it's full, it will be removed. Warning! No marine life was harmed in this process. Yeah, scientists have confirmed that one. There's also a thing called the Seabin V5. This focuses more on still water, so in marinas and lakes. And what this does, it's kind of like a hoover. It sucks up a load of water and then pumps it back out again, but the rubbish inside gets trapped. I don't see that being very good for marine life, but they do seem to suggest there's not much fish around in the places they use them, so yeah. And the final one I'd like to talk about, which is coming in the future in 2023, it's called Fred, which is floating robot eliminating debris. And this thing also works kind of like a hoover, but it's going to be working in the oceans. What it does is it collects harmful debris from the surface whilst running on renewable energy. Flaps at the front will collect large debris and take them to collection bins. And because Fred is a slow boy, I guess, Fred, right? With awesome sensors, it manages to tell the marine life to stay away from him. So, safe. There's lots of surprising ways people benefit from plastic, from crushing it to make bricks to build houses with, to returning it to places that do this for things like food vouchers and vouchers for schooling. But one of the most surprising ways I've found is they can convert it into diesel. It takes about 8.3 pounds of plastic, any kind of plastic, doesn't matter what type it is, to make 1 gallon of diesel. That's pretty impressive. Now, I know everybody's dying to know, how do they make diesel from plastic? Well, firstly, the plastics need to be converted into fuel oil by a plastic waste pyrolysis plant. Don't even know what one of them is. But this consists of reactor, manifolds, condenser systems, oil tanks, cooling system, dedusting system. Very good. Secondly, the plastic oil is turned into diesel. Is that it? Well, you need the distillation system, heating system, intelligent electric control system. Okay, put it in simple terms. So when you've turned the plastic into fuel oil, it's like how you turn fish and chip shop oil into biodiesel. You can turn those petrochemicals into regular diesel. Okay. Everybody has Google. Enough with the science shit. Rude. But, fun facts. Lots of things can be turned into diesel. For example, sugarcane. So after talking about all the issues that the planet has with plastic, this is some of the plastic that we have aboard Olli. This is a special kind of plastic though, called melamine, and we have this instead of things like porcelain and glass because it's a lot safer. If porcelain or glass drops and breaks, it can be very dangerous on board a boat. And this is very durable, it doesn't break, ever. It's not supposed to break, ever. We also use disposable but recyclable water bottles whilst we're here on El Hierro because the water doesn't taste great from the tap, but we do reuse them. We buy bigger water bottles and we refill the little water bottles, and when they're done we recycle them. When we can, we fill up our lovely 4Ocean bottle, reusable, with fresh drinking water. We have oil in plastic bottles because if a glass bottle broke, that would be pretty gross. Oil everywhere. A safety issue. So unfortunately for us, we cannot be 100% plastic free. But we do recycle. So what can we all do to try and stop plastic from finding its way into the ocean? Well, firstly, try not to use plastic. Secondly, if you do have to use plastic, then try not to use single-use plastic. And thirdly, if you do have to use single-use plastic, recycle as much as possible, because one day it might come to bite you in the ass.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like and subscribe.
Help us make more videos like this by joining our Patreon family.